Hi, my name is Tim Denowden, and this is a demonstration of the Hangman game I made for C++. Basically, what you do is you enter any phrase, and then it makes your Hangman game. And you could enter any letter into the box down here to make a guess. If it is in there, it will show up on the phrase. So you can see that it fills out the correct location of the letter, and if you are wrong, it'll make a little hangman figure up here. This has every letter in the alphabet, so it's probably not going to work out too well. But if you keep guessing the same letters you've already guessed, it won't count as a turn. But if you enter some gibberish text, it will. So in order to complete the game, you get obviously you get all the letters. If not, then you can enter the full phrase. And if that matches up, then you're a winner. This is the basic structure of the game. There's a main file and two additional classes. One's called Game Manager and one is called Phrase. The main holds a pointer to each of these, the Game Manager and the Phrase, and then the Game Manager contains a pointer for the phrase as well. The phrase is an object that consists of two strings. There's the full phrase and the hidden phrase. Basically, the full phrase is the actual guess. It's in complete full letters that the user enters in the beginning. And the hidden phrase is actually all the underlines that are printed out each time, and it gradually gets filled up with text as the user guesses what it is. And it's comparing these two that determines whether or not the user has guessed the correct phrase. The Game Manager basically keeps track of all the game variables. It holds the phrase in order to do actions to it, like guessing a letter or things like that. It also contains all the previously guessed letters, and that's just a string, and each letter gets appended to the end of the string, depending on whether it goes into the full phrase or if it's not in the phrase, and then it gets added to this string here and printed out just below the hangman drawing. The body state is an integer. It keeps track of the health, basically, of the hangman. Depending on what the value is, it will print different pictures for the hangman. And the main is actually the main control loop. It cycles through every guess input. We can actually look at some of the code here. So basically, this is the main logo that gets printed when you start, and then the user puts in a desired phrase here, which is what they're going to be guessing later. Usually it's going to be a second player. And then that's entered into the phrase, which then constructs the hidden and the blank phrase. And it also, once the phrase is created, we give a reference to the phrase to the Game Manager in order so it could keep track of everything. And then the while loop here is the main game loop. It basically clears the screen, and then it has the user enter a guess, and then it basically checks is that letter already been guessed before. If not, then we actually take the Game Manager and we guess the letter, and that is what's going to compare the phrase and check every single letter within the string whether or not it's in there. And then if it is not in there, we add to the body state, which basically means we're going to add 1 damage to the hangman himself, so it would draw more and more of the body segments. If the guess is longer than just 1 letter, or if the guess is I give up, then the game will just end and give you the answer, because sometimes it's just too hard. If the guess is longer than 1 letter and the guess is equal to the phrase, the exact string of it, which is what we did at the very end. The quick lazy, or the quick dog jumped over the whatever. If it is equal, then the game is, the loop is turned off. Basically, we're going to exit the loop, and the winning Boolean is marked true. So that at the end of the game, we know, hey, we are winning, so that means we print out the winner logo. That's your prize. And then it keeps, while you've been entering the text, you've been keeping track of how many turns it took, and it'll print out how many guesses it took you, and it will, that's a winning state. If you didn't get the guess, if the hangman was completely made, it'll print the hangman in the dead state, basically, and it'll say it was give a try and give you what the phrase was. That's basically how the game loop works. If we look over at the phrase, that's probably a more simple object. It has only a few functions that modify it. These are the two strings inside. Basically, what the phrase does, there's the get full string, which is it just gets the entire text. Get hidden string, that's used to print out the underlined letters, and then there's guess character, and that's probably the most complex function. Basically, what it does is it loops through all the letters in the string, which is basically an array, and it guesses, is that equal to the guess letter, and it returns true if it is. Basically, that is what tells the game manager itself what's going on, whether or not the guess is correct or not, whether it should it has already been guessed. It tells it whether or not to add health to or like make the hangman lose health. That's what makes the game manager keep track of everything that's going on. Basically, the most complex thing within the game manager itself that needs explanation is actually how we print the hangman. It's basically a bunch of lines and strings that are printed out, that are printed every time. You can see how the body state is checked for its value, so 0, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. And you can see that the body of the little man here is being built as the health gets worse. Like there he has an arm, there he has 2 arms, and eventually this is the dead state. This is what prints if you lose. And you can see his eyes are crossed, as in he's done. It's game over. That's pretty much the gist of the game. It can go a lot more complex on exactly how everything interacts with each other, but if you're looking for a basic overview, this is a good insight.